it's not. The reason why I want it in front of everybody is because it's the reality. This is the kids today are, she's like, my kid doesn't seem to have any kind of compassion.
Sometimes, like
Sometimes.
it's like very polarized. So sometimes like she'll jump in and help when I need it, and
Right.
then sometimes she sees like I'm struggling with like 50 bags and
I'm like,
you know,
that's so funny.
you know, or like
There are red lines on your hands. Mom, that's so cool. How'd you do that? But not gonna, mothers complain about this all the time. You heard that on the phone on the way here. That's the mother, like my teenager is being so cruel. That's at 11. That we sometimes, what do you do to make children have more compassion?
they don't want to help kids these days. Like it'll be like something so simple, like couldn't
Right.
take out the trash, put it in the garage downstairs.
No, that's not what we're up to.
No. Like it's not
Right.
something hard. It takes 1 second.
Oh, we're up to here? Chutzpah. I thought it was charts and games that really work. We didn't do that one, did we? No. Oh, wow, we're doing chutzpah today. Okay, great. Healthy eating habits. And the last one is charts and games that really work? Yeah. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to do the class on empathy and all that stuff. This is this week's class. I'm so excited. But the reason why kids need to help at home, why do kids have to help? Why do kids have to help? Because then the daughter was right. But
they'll develop a life skill.
They'll develop a life skill. Good, right. Also, they also need to help because otherwise they don't feel good about themselves. Right. This mother was telling me now that her teenager is acting completely impossible. She wants to throw her out of the house. She's done. Finished. Move out. Sounds like an interesting option. It does come with some side effects. And I told her, I talked to her rabbi because I'm not taking responsibility for that. But the kid is talking terrible chutzpah, and the kid is very, very, very like horrible. And also the kid is not helping at all. So I said to her, if your daughter had cancer and she was going through chemo, would you make her help? We're good? Okay, I'm recording. I want to make sure. Can everyone hear? Hello?
Yes, we can hear.
Okay. I said to her, if your daughter was really sick, would you make her up? And she said, absolutely not. I said, it's not fair. They need to help, so they should be happy. Children are much happier when they need help, so they should be a functioning adult. People that eat potato chips and watch movies are miserable. It's not a happy person. They're not like, I can hire a housekeeper to do it. It's not worth it for me, but I make sure to leave the kids help all the time. She's lacking compassion and helping in the house. We connect even though they're not connected. Like she's saying lacking compassion when somebody's crying, the kid is laughing. How many mothers will call me and say, I think I have a narcissist in the house? I'm petrified. Like his brother is crying and he's laughing.
Because she's not laughing at the crying. She's laughing just completely like in her own world.
Good.
Like,
That's right.
Laughing at something she just saw that she's on the floor, falling over and laughing
Right.
at something that she finds
Right.
so hilarious, but like failing to feel what her sister is feeling in that moment, like noticing, being observant of what's around her.
Right. So you could definitely do things to create empathy. Number one is when we have empathy in our kids and we validate their feelings, which you do amazing and I have no question. You give them way too much. I'm scared. I remember for the rest of this class, if I remember anything, but that will definitely teach them compassion. Also, children will, I love how you said it now, they're going to miss it. They're not going to pick it up. They're going to be busy with their own thing. They have a goal, super focused on a goal. That's what they're like at that age. It's normal. If you see an adult like that, but you can still teach empathy in a lot of different ways, including reading them great books and asking them, stop. How do you think the other person feels in the story? Opening any kind of a charity, of an organization, charity, like having kids working towards a cause, working for a cause. Today I was out of the house all day, 8 o'clock this morning. I got into a cab. And I went to a Hamaspik resort in the Catskills, and I met with a group of 40 new widows, new almanas that just lost their husbands, young mothers. It was terrible. I'm completely not recuperated from it. It was terrible, but I came home. My kids all gave me their tzedakah money for the cab, and they all wrote things for them. And they're all like, I was asking them if they think that they should get remarried or they shouldn't get remarried, or what advice we could give them. Like, having been with Tati in the house, what do you think? And like having them fundraise for having them bake, like that's how you know that they'll develop compassion. Dropping off cash by somebody's door, knocking on the door and running away. We do it in a secret. I used to tell the kid, look how compassionate you are. I love how much you care. All of things develop adults that have compassion. We have a very big fear that our children will turn out to be like narcissists, like cruel. There are a few people that are like that. Most people are not, so don't worry about it. But when you tell a kid you're so selfish, how could you do that? Like, we're so heartbroken. Like, I can't even watch this. I can't watch how you're behaving. You're being so mean. You're reinforcing the negative behavior instead of saying, look how compassionate you are. I love how you did that. Look how compassionate you are. I noticed how you did that. So just building on the compassion and not being like heartbroken by it. I've gotten very strong. I'm watching myself give these parenting classes. I've taken this back out of the closet after 2 years, and I'm redoing it. And I'm seeing my children now, and I don't think only my children, I think all of our children, like, I feel like they need us to be much stronger than the classes, even much stricter. I think that we're more scared and we're softer, and they need us to just be much stricter. Like, there is a rule. I had my daughter sign a contract. You tease your brother, it's $2. It goes an automatic transfer from his account into your account. We don't even talk about it. That's it. I said no. And I said, we're going next week. Bona Olam's doing a fundraising event for fertility, people that struggle with fertility. I'm going there to speak. I saved 2 seats for you. You can come as long as there isn't one tease. You tease once, we cancel the trip. No, like they need to hear, like, so you're seeing her be cruel. If you're just seeing her not pick up, that's one thing. But if you're seeing her hurting, I like very strong, not an option. I don't let it. My son is frying potatoes once a week. I let him fry potatoes. That's like once a week. What? Yeah, he's 14 years old. He does the French fries thing. I use like 1.5 gallons of oil, and I clean the kitchen for like 2 days afterwards. But it's a great experience for him. But I just said to him, imagine if you came home and it smelled from French fries, and I was frying myself French fries, but I didn't make it for anybody else. How would you feel? If you're making French fries, either you make for everybody or you make for nobody. I need you to act more compassionate. And kids don't pick up a lot. I also feel like the smartphone, like, it just shuts your brain. It's not that you're not compassionate, but it's just that you don't see things. You're just experiencing one thing, you don't see something else. Also, I think that when the kids are very exposed to a lot of stories and a lot of drama and it's just like you have to shut off to survive. And they end up, so like cutting down on screen time and definitely will also help that. Okay. Yeah.
Sorry to bother. Somebody
Just
had
go one more.
a blue Mercedes. We're just blocking the driveway. Is it, do you mind to move it?
Oh,
My husband just wanted me, so he can.
I'm sorry.
Do you want me to move it for you?
No, it's okay. Hold on.
He'll go and then you can come inside.
Yeah, it's okay. It's all right.
Sorry.
I almost didn't let her take the question. Okay, so chutzpah and fetching is really a lack of communication skills. So when a kid is not saying something right, it's because they're not communicating. We want to give them really, really good communication skills. So kvetching, nagging, and chutzpah kvetching, it's not a good communication skill. Right, so instead of, my son is calling from the ice cream house. He wants me to give him another $10. He wants to buy a penny vodka. I don't know, this I don't know. And right, and he's like, well, we're in the store. His Rebbe took them all. I didn't know anything about this at all. When he's like, the Rebbe's only paying for an ice cream, but I would like to order something double the price. I'm not using my own money. Give me the money right now. You want me to come home? Or do you want me not to come home? Like, this is ridiculous. Like, I need food and call a cab right now. It's very chutzpah. Like she was describing, Jessica, do yours. It was a great one that you gave me now.
Oh, like imitating me.
Right.
Like whatever I say, they answer back, and I'm like, that's chutzpah. That's chutzpah.
Right.
Or like, just like I'm like, you have to care. Like we have to do. I don't care. I'm like, no, but you can't be mean to your brother. I don't care what you say. Don't talk to me. Shh. Don't talk. Don't talk.
Stop talking. You talk too
Stop
much.
talking. You're talking too much.
Anyone's kids do
You're
that.
talking too much.
Yeah.
You're talking too much. Yeah.
I do think that children, everyone has different, the children do see us like maybe equal, if not like this. They just, and it's not, we have done that. I don't know, did you ever compliment your mother on what she wore?
Yeah.
It wasn't even an option. I'm older than most of you. It wasn't an option, maybe more old fashioned. I still remember when my daughter was 4 years old, she said, "Ma, nice dress, turn around. I like it." I couldn't believe it. Today, kids are complete, like, don't wear that or you can't come with me. The Mashiach is coming very soon. The kids they don't see authority at all. I mean, we all know that, right? Like
Or it
kids,
could be a way of being close to you.
Wait, are you saying when
Like it's kind of a relationship.
disrespectful?
there isn't like an up or a down. Like, would you say, "Hey, President Trump, like your tie"?
Oh, you're.
There's no authority. There just is, "Hey, Rabbi, you got a new pair of shoes?" I don't know. I don't think so. Do you?
But you don't, like a mother to daughter, it's not a sign of bond.
It's like, yeah.
I just want you to know one thing. It's a reality today. This is the reality. It has some great parts. It has some really tough parts. The way the kids talk to us. My daughter tell you, how do you think I feel when you talk to me like that? Then you want me to talk to you? Then you care about how, like, you're serious now. Yeah?
Yeah, but like my daughter, I feel like she's kind of like imitating how I speak with her. Like when I'm sweet with her, like she's
Right.
four, so I'll be like, "Oh, Esther, you look so beautiful."
Right. "Oh, mommy, you look so
then I get
beautiful."
dressed and she like wants to.
Right.
She wants to also be sweet. It's like
Also another kid telling me, "Mommy, look at my nose. I'm going out now from that door or from that door. You're giving me choices." Like they're giving you, and they so it's extremely important that with Hashem's help, that at the end of the day, I stay the authority. When I'm in my room crying after an interaction, I'm devastated. It's because the kid lost, because they lost their mother, because I became their little sister.
So what do I say if she says, "Oh, mommy"?
"Mommy looks so beautiful"? That's just notice to self. This is what we're dealing with today. It's just this is the reality. There is no authority. This dress can be worn by my mother-in-law and by my granddaughter. Even the way that we dress today, there isn't an age. We're all the same. There is no authority. It used to be at some age you wore something that you would never, like, you get to be like older to wear. Like there's no, it's seamless. We're all the same age and there is no authority. That's just how Hashem made it. It used to be that you never said something bad about the president because he was the president. Today, what'd you say?
I have a question. I don't know.
Yeah.
Are we allowed to ask? Are we allowed to like?
You ask and I'll tell you if I'm answering you.
No, I don't want
Right.
to interrupt. Are we allowed to ask questions? It's one of my first times being in person.
Oh, wow. When I'm not in person, I'm on Zoom. It makes you crazy when I'm asking questions?
No.
Okay, good, then I wanna hear.
I love
Okay.
it. I just told her, I'm like, I want to ask a million questions. I
I feel like when you ask the questions that it's a better speech. Tell me.
Okay, just everyone don't hate me.
I like questions.
She has the best question.
Mhm.
So I'm not worried about my kids like complimenting me. I'm
Good.
more upset about like when it's the opposite.
Good.
Like
When they're putting you down,
Yeah.
Being rude.
Or being rude.
very rude, right?
Hey, it's time for homework. Don't tell me when it's time for homework. Like,
Right, exactly. So my point is that this is the reality. Some of you have a little bit more of an aristocratic energy. So you're gonna be, the kids are just not gonna ask you. Sometimes you have a neighbor say your kids can talk to you like that. Oh my God. They would never talk to me that way. Either the person is abusive or they just have more aristocratic room energy. On a whole, our kids think that they are equal to us very much until around the age of 30.
But what do we answer back to them? when
Good. That's the one. So number one is, it's like, the goal today is that I want to stay your mommy that loves you. You might think that there is no mommy and that we are two sisters, but if you and I were two sisters, girl, you're in big trouble. You need to have a mother. So I cannot afford to get pulled down. Oh my God. Okay, so okay, this was a good example. We're on, the cleaning girl didn't show up on Shabbos, which was a great thing. Because, everyone has to have a job. Anyways, I'm doing the last class. I'm waiting till workshop number 10 to get my system back in place. Everyone has to help 15 minutes every night. So I'm having the kid do the couch, and she's like, nothing, I will not pick up a thing that I didn't put down. So I said to her, do you think that I clean up? Imagine if I only cleaned up after what I did. Yeah. Okay. So then she's like, I'm not the maid. That's what you pay her for. Whoa. And then she's going, and I said to her, you're acting now like you're the neighbor that I called in to clean up here. You know what? Pack your bags in. Be the neighbor. So now we're two sisters that are fighting. This is really not pretty. I never, ever, ever want to do that. I want to say, read it out and just say, it's hard for you to help. Finish the job, and then we'll talk. Ew, disgusting. This is it. I don't want to hear a word. I understand it's hard. Finish the job, and then we'll talk. And she would have harassed me the entire time, but I would have kept very strong. And what I would like for her to learn is that harassment doesn't work. It's not an effective communication.
Well, how many times did you say it until they do it?
Yeah.
Like my kids won't do it.
Yeah, what if?
My
it's
daughter
like
goes,
they know you're
I
so
didn't make the mess, so
stubborn.
why do I? Like literally, she raises her eyebrow
Right.
too. I'm like, okay, relax. Like we're all in it together. She's like, so why aren't you helping? I'm like, I don't sleep on your sheets, so why?
Right, this is what I'm talking
And then she
about.
goes, but that's your job. You're the mommy. I'm like, she's
Right.
like, so why don't you just leave it for next week? I'm like,
Right.
for what next? Like, why
Right.
do we have to wait? We
Right.
don't have school, so we could all just do it then.
Yeah, that right,
So like everything's like and then like if I tell her just pick up the toy, let's like
right.
we wasted 5 minutes arguing. She's like, I'm not doing it, and she walks out, and I end up
only
doing
have
it.
that. We wasted 10 minutes arguing, just put it in the room.
So at first, I want you to know something, that it's not a waste, because if you said it and she did it, then
But doesn't
she
do it, she
won.
feels sad.
If she said it and then you end up crying and picking it up, then she lost in the worst way possible. And I don't mind, even like without a threat, making a really strong natural consequence. I come in and I want the briefcase to go on the hook, and it's like, I'm so tired, I can't. And I just say, I'm so happy you came home. Briefcase on the hook, one hand on the shoulder, one hand on his hand, and we're going. I'm actually going there. Good job. The next day, you'll be surprised to find me by that door when he comes home. And I say, hello, Tzadik. I missed you today. Big hug. Where do your things go? Show me, show me. And he says, on the floor. And I'll just say, almost. And I hand over hand, strong, tough. I'm your mother, and you need to have an authority, or it's terrible. You need to know that I'm stronger than you. I'm here for you. This is how it goes. Homework has to be finished by 8 o'clock. But I can't. You're so mean. You're torturing me. You don't even know. Okay, when you were my age, you didn't study at all. I know. And I'm like, excuse me, I did. No, I'll just say, it sounds like it's really hard for you. 8 o'clock, homework, that's it. You want a phone at night? They love to have a phone in bed. 9 o'clock. 9:20. If you're in bed at 9:05, it's without a phone. You're gonna be okay. And if no matter how much noise they make, I didn't join the noise, and they got the phone. I feel like this is what the kids are missing. Like this is what they need, and they're very, very expressive. Is that the right word? Or
So how about if they're doing the job that they're like, oh, mommy is always so annoying. She's always telling us so many things to do. So do you
I'll
ignore
just say,
that?
I'll just say, you, we have this test that I I'm like, yeah, you got stuck with the most annoying mother.
I sometimes say you can pack it back.
Go.
I always say, I'm like, there's a few houses that want kids, so I'm sure they're like available and that they want you, and they're like, so you don't want us? I'm like, no, it seems, it seems like
Right.
you're unhappy.
I
here."
really don't want.
Is that bad to say?
Yes.
So I want to give an example from when I was a kid. because
Okay.
This is like, I don't know, it just jumped out at me and I just want to share it and I want to see if this is something that we could translate to
Yeah.
for me. So basically, I'm not gonna say whether it was a parent or a sibling.
Okay.
I remember I had my, like, every time I would, I would put my clothes and I would put it down somewhere. And then, I'm not gonna say who, but they were like, okay, you have to put your clothes in the laundry basket, not on the floor.
Good.
So then, I guess it was like after 2 times, and I guess I just like dismissed it. And then they ended up putting my dirty clothes on my bed. And like, I remember when I saw it, I was like shocked and like, I couldn't believe it. But I never did it again.
Yeah. I
Is
gave-
that something
I gave
that
a better
you think
example of that. Yeah.
Correct?
This is called let the
That you
natural
can do?
consequence happen. Yeah. I explained to the kids that if you put the clothing in the hamper, then it gets washed. What does that mean? If you don't put it in the hamper, then it doesn't get washed. And then I gently arranged that there was no clothing left anywhere but on the floor and under her bed and in the hallway. I left it there all week. I didn't touch anything. And I made sure there was no clothing left in the drawer Sunday morning, which is a great day because there's no school Sunday. And the neighbors all came knocking. And she's like, can I go out and play? I said, sure. She's like, but no clothes in my drawer. You're kidding. There's no clothes in your drawer. It's because how could that be? I just watched. Go check the washing machine. Empty. The dryer. Empty. Where's your clothes? I think I saw something on the floor. Go check. Yup, mommy, I saw that. Okay. So then she put it in the washing machine. I showed her we do blacks, we do whites, colored and white. And then you put soap in. How long does it take? I said, I don't know, about an hour. But my friends are here. Oh, big hug. She figured it out. If you don't put your clothing in the hamper, then you don't have clothes to wear.
That was way too easy. It's more like, why didn't you do it?
You know why the story is like that?
that?
You know why? You know why that story was way too easy? I'll tell you why. Because my daughter is 24 now. It was easier then. Because she was many years ago.
Generation.
Well, yeah. Well,
Different, 10 years ago, it was a different generation. 5 years ago. she did it.
so today I am doing the natural consequence more than ever now. Especially I find that with orphans, they coddle them so bad so they don't get consequences because they feel so bad for them and they end up so crippled. Like I absolutely do not let it. She didn't bring her book report. She couldn't bring home the prize. That's it. And she came with, you're so mean. She hates me. And I said, so hard, I know. If you bring home the book report, then you can bring home the prize. If you bring in the book report, that's when you have to bring home the prize. You'll be okay. I know you can do this. So natural consequences is a great thing because a lot of times kids are like, if I pick up my stuff on the floor, then mommy's happy. If I don't pick up stuff on the floor, then mommy's mad. Okay, so let mommy be mad. It's worth a few minutes of noise.
So you think it's very important to be very strict with the natural consequences, even if, for example, with food, with anything? You think it's
I
very
think that a
important?
natural consequence is a great tool to use when other things don't work. Now, it seems that you're still wounded by it.
Well, I think, I don't know if I'm
I'm
wounded by it,
interested
but
that
I
you still
think-
remember it.
Well, I think it's something important that, I learned from. It was a natural consequence.
Right.
So
So we had a natural
I agree.
consequence.
There is a certain element. of
I'm
like,
curious, because
I
you're
still
reminding me now of
remember
a
it.
story of somebody that I know, that the mother used to throw the jackets out the window if it was left on the table. So that was done out of a lot of anger, and that is traumatic. But that's not what we're talking about. So it's just a matter of like, if you eat in your bed, then there will be crumbs in your bed. Don't vacuum the crumbs. But sometimes it's very powerful if you can just stop making so much noise. Let life teach the kid. You don't take a shower, you're gonna smell. The kids are gonna make fun of you. Don't say it.
How about if it's an A basket? Like thing, like wash your hands when you got, like literally when you walk through the.
You have to
door.
wash your hands when you come inside, and then the
But, like,
kids
let's say
being
you
very
wanna-
chutzpahdik the whole way in. So you're still gonna ignore the chutzpah and just keep on going. Wash your hands.
So
wash
you
your hands.
walk them to the door, to the bathroom and wash. your
Yeah,
hands.
one hand on the waist, one hand on the shoulder, tickle, tickle, tickle. When you come home, you wash your hands, let's go. You still mean, nobody else does this, you're germophobic, blah, 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 blah. And I'll just say, cut it out. When you come home, yes, but not you.
I have a question.
Good, yeah.
What if it's not a consequence that matters to them? Like.
Right, then don't do
let's
it.
say you clean their bedroom for a pizza.
Right.
And you say, no food in the room.
Right.
And then they go there with cookies. So I can't just let them.
That's right.
Deal with the cookies.
That's
No, I
right.
have to deal with the
Here's a
cookies.
great example, okay? I have this thing, if you don't get dressed, you go to school in pajamas. Any of your kids care? Some kids are very excited about it. Some kids are so traumatized, never do that. Some kids might actually, if you miss the bus, then you stay home. For some of your kids, it's the best thing ever.
Yeah, that is. amazing.
I did it the day of a CM. Was it too harsh?
Oh my gosh.
I did it many, many years ago. I'm still not sure if I really hope I didn't damage them for life. I tried. Yeah,
I have a question.
1 second, I hear you. One second, yeah,
Thank you.
right?
I need a minute, give me 5 minutes.
No.
I'll do it-
Oh
I'll
my
do
God,
it
yeah.
all.
No.
5 minutes.
You know,
Right, good,
You know,
right.
you know, and that whole thing about like equality and, you know, I don't jump to their, you know, calling back in every time they.
Oh, right.
So,
You don't, every time I call you, you don't come. Why do I have to listen right away when you come? And you're like, well, when I call you, when you call me, you expect me to come that second. I already asked you 4 times. This is the 5th time. None of that. I just say, when a mommy calls, then we need to come. And when I call, you don't need to come. And I'll say, I think you understand. When a mommy calls, you need to come right away. Stay the mother. The kids need, otherwise they're orphans. You have a
Yeah.
lot of kids.
I think that's our problem. We answer them back. when
As
we
if,
shouldn't.
and we're really answering ourselves back.
Yeah.
Like, what's it- I really don't love her more. I just said it because, yes, your question.
So you're saying like, okay, one hand on the waist, one hand on the shoulder and like direct them. But like, I feel like more often than not, it's like a kicking and screaming toddler who's like hysterically crying, exhausted and like fighting you. Like, so do you continue with that same resolve? Like,
You think that the toddler is really not capable of doing what you want them to do?
meaning like, I can't even, like, I wouldn't be able to just like put one hand on the waist and one hand on the shoulder. Like, it's like, I just feel like
Let's say the toddler doesn't want to go into bed. Yeah? You
that's a
pick
great
it up.
example. I have a toddler next to me.
You go, doesn't want to go into bed. So a toddler needs a mother. You pick up the kid and you say, you don't want to go to sleep. 7 o'clock. It's sleepy time. In the crib you go. I think hand over hand is so much more common with a young child.
Yeah, but then it's exhausting, and when you have 3 of them,
Ah.
you can't pick up all them to do what you need to be done. So,
Yeah.
like, I find myself sitting on the couch, I'm like,
You just give up.
I give
Yeah.
up.
I'm too tired.
Like,
Why can't we
No,
just
I
use
do
toys
try.
instead?
Like what?
Like a lollipop, you clean up the toys, I give you a lollipop.
It really
For a
works.
toddler.
Right.
can we
But
do
then they
that?
always, but then they always want more,
Yes.
like everything
Yeah.
they do, no? For
It
what?
depends for which child. It depends when, like right now, I would use lollipops.
Yeah.
For sure. You use it, you save it for when you need it. If you're gonna use it all the time, then you won't have it for when you need it, but please, I've done it, you know, I don't know if you know, but I give parenting classes and I was a young mother and I was giving the parenting classes and I would be in the grocery and the kids would be like kicking on the floor and I would have this complete anxiety attack that I'm supposed to know what I'm talking about and the kids knew about it. So they would be horrible in the grocery and I would have chocolate bars. Okay. What is it called? Candy parenting? I don't know, lollipop parenting?
No, it's a bribery.
It's called bribery. The reason why it's us is because it works. I just sometimes
How do you train dogs?
that same way, right? Exactly. I mean, they could create some kind of a weird. I'll speak about it next because we don't want our kids to have like a weird association with food and like, you know, things like that. But if in case of an emergency, you're hardly pregnant on the couch, it's lollipops. It's fine. And yes, young kids are exhausting and it does pass. I really, really feel like those 3 younger kids, like the 12 now, is much easier. When I stopped being able to have kids and I had 8, I was devastated because I already felt like I figured out the hardest part, going from 1 to 2 to 3. I don't think it gets harder than that. This is the most, it's physically, it's draining. It's exhausting. It's okay if you sit on the couch and you take a break and then you get up when you can and you keep on going.
And nothing gets done until you get up. And
Yeah, right, until you get up and do it, right? My Friday just called Rudy over, my stepdaughter over. She's like, Ma, I just called for Rudy. We're going to the ice cream house. I can't anymore. So I sent over my big girl to my daughter's house. They're gonna babysit. They're going to the ice cream. They're coming back home just for a few minutes because someone's gonna get hurt if I don't get a break. It's a very real thing. Please understand that. Like, it's never as draining as it is with those three young ones, and you're almost like a zook. It passes. It really does. It really passes. It gets easier when you have older kids around. It's challenging in a very different way. It's never like those three little ones. So the kids are, and I find that the kids are nagging. So this is more for the younger ones. Why do
Carol?
what children need?
Can-
Yeah,
Can I ask a question?
yeah.
So with regards to, for example, the shower, right? If the child has to take a shower, but the child doesn't want to and keeps
Right.
complaining about how she doesn't want to take a shower,
Right.
and people will make fun of her if she smells. How you said not to explain that to her, not to tell her that, so that
An
she won't feel
option-
bad, but
One option would be to just stop fighting her, see how it works. It's cute that in some communities, they tell me people would never say anything. It's really cute. It's like real good meters. It's unbelievable. They're like, my kids will smell. No one will ever say a word to her. Then don't try that. But that's one of the options of what you could try. Children
well,
need.
can we explain to them like that will happen and people can make fun of you for that?
What do you think? What happens when
I
you
don't
try
think
it?
people in Green Neck would do that. I don't know.
Like other kids might in class.
Other kids in class like, ew, you smell?
No,
No.
never.
It could be that
It
now.
doesn't happen in Green Neck.
No, there's
If they really smell.
Right.
Okay, so they may not say anything, but they'll just alienate her. They won't
I would like
be
to
friends
just say,
with her.
you need to take a shower 3 times a week or 4 times a week. You must take a shower. You need to be fresh and yummy smelling into the shower right now. I can get you new soap. I can get you new whatever. But the bottom line is that her not speaking respectfully is not getting you to back down. And the kids need to know with this body that you're not backing down. You said it out of your mouth, and this body is not gonna move until you're done. And don't worry, can I know how with the children, there's so much going on. You pick one kid and you go with one thing at a time, and that's it. For me, the chutzpah, the most important part is that it doesn't work. Young children
you.
and some teenagers, I feel like one of my kids now is really like pre-teenage. She's very hormonal. She's acting like a nut. That's what's going on. She's just like agitated. Low in vitamins. I give the kids vitamin B in the winter, vitamin D, vitamin
What if they
D.
don't wanna take
D.
the
I
vitamins?
try the vitamins. Some of the kids don't want to take it. Some of the yummy candies they have.
It helps with their mood.
Oh yes, some of them are agitated. I make sure they're not going. Some of them are constipated. The kids are cranky. Some of my kids, I know they're getting strep when they start acting horrible. Any of your kids? Like the next day, you're like, I'm like, wow, wow, oh my God, he has strep, of course. Now the last 3 days make a lot of sense.
Even with no symptoms, like no fever.
No fever, no nothing. The symptoms come out 3 or 4 days later. Like, fucking mommy, I hate you. There's like for no reason. And the little ones, they go like, my cousin calls it cleaning. It's like steel wool on the nurse. And you're just willing to throw almost anything at the kid to get them to stop. They're like just very agitated. So one kind of fetching is just like low in vitamins. And the other one is for manipulation. I don't want to take a shower. I don't want to clean up. I want you to give me something. They also, some of the kids are very, very chutzpah just for attention. Also, some of the kids are frustrated and stuff, and they don't have a solution. So I always say crying is not a solution. Kvetching, chutzpah, it's not a solution. You have a problem. We need to figure this out. I want my kids to be able to like think of another solution all the time.
I have a question.
Yes.
So for attention.
Yes.
Let's say like your kids see one of your kids are home because she's
Okay.
not time for school yet.
Okay.
Like, she's so lucky she gets to spend all day
Yes.
with you and she goes everywhere with you.
Yeah.
But like you explain to them that like, okay, it's not her time to go to school yet and then it's not so much
I
fun.
just say, wouldn't it be nice if you could just stay right here
And
next to
then
me on the
they'll
couch?
call like an hour later from school
Okay.
and say like, oh, she has a throat ache and you have no choice but to pick her
But I
up.
have this all the time. Like that I never know when it's for attention and when it's real.
So I told the school I'm not picking her up. It's all about attention,
Ah.
because she said this morning. But then she threw up 20 minutes
Right.
later and I had no choice but to pick
Right,
her up.
right.
So,
So I want you to
so
know.
then like I
right,
didn't know how to react when she came, because I'm
But
like,
you short attention?
I assumed it was because she said that whole thing right
But maybe
before
she said it
went
because
to-
she was coming down with something.
Yeah.
So here's the deal.
So like, but then.
No guilt, no matter what. Because there are kids that I've insisted to go to school, and the teacher is like, she has 100 until what were you doing? And then there are kids that stay home and like at like 3 hours and you're like, wow, the kid got me good. He's fine. You know, and like that's the risk that you take when you have a baby. We guess and we don't always know. And I just promise myself every night, you're doing a great job, Harold. Whatever you do, I'm not gonna beat you up. Just guess. It's a guessing game. And sometimes like, I'm worried and I'm taking the kids from doctor to doctor and it's like nothing. And then sometimes I know that we don't have so much power. There is no real way to know. And sometimes kids want attention and they can really get sick for it.
Right.
So that vomiting, my kid can vomit like this, it's not a problem. They need whatever
So
they
do
need.
you give into it?
Sometimes yes,
Like
and
she
sometimes
came
no.
home, she was completely fine.
Okay, just say,
But
oh,
she
you're
didn't
not
throw
feeling
up?
well, and give her all the attention for it, and the next day start, and next day don't. There isn't really a way to know. So first, I want you to know that when kids have a meltdown, the first thing that most mothers do is blame themselves. I shouldn't have taken them to the grocery. We are never shopping in this store again. There's always like this like great reason why it's our fault that the kids are cranky. I knew you'd never do this. Like I am never doing. So that number one is you say deep breath and you say, Rosh Hashanah, Hashem wrote down in the book how many meltdowns I'm going to have this year. There is absolutely nothing I can do about them. It's hashgacha pratis, because I find that if I'm still beating myself up, I should never have asked her to help. It's not worth it. I just keep my mouth shut. It's not that. It's not the truth. It's not the emes. Like killing yourself while they're fetching. Maybe I'm too hard on her. Maybe I'm too soft on her. Is right now Hashem wants me to have a kid on the floor that's crying. That's it. I wrote here. It's called emotional parnasa. Like just like emotionally, how many times the kids are gonna open up their mouth to me? How many people are gonna put me down? How many people are gonna praise me? How many hugs I'm gonna get? Is all up to Hashem. It has nothing to do with us. Yes.
Yeah, but if you like do something else that will fill up that quota instead,
Try.
like for example, like if you put like an extra like foot forward or like
Okay.
to, like do that extra thing like
Good.
then,
So
like,
we
the
can,
stuff
at
will
the end of the day, you can sit down and say, okay, what did I learn? What can I do? So I ever tells you, a very sweet Black woman sat me down, she said, honey, I want you to, very spiritual. I want you to know everything in life, or she's a lesson or she's a blessing. You like it. You can only say it like that, right? Or she's a lesson or she's a blessing. So either it's a bracha or we learn something from it. What, do you love it? I love it. So everything, it's a blessing. Or it's a bracha, or so I learned something. Hashgacha pratis and learning something from it is not a stereo. But today, whatever I would have tried, some days I do everything wrong and the kids are just happy. Some days I do everything right and the kids are everything like, why did I take you on a trip? Why did I put all this effort in? Why did I take you out to eat? You're more miserable than ever. So it's really not true that what we do equals to happy kids. Yes.
Just what you were saying before about being like the mommy.
Yeah.
So they're like screaming and yelling and you're telling them you can't talk to your mommy like that.
Yes.
But they like, she has to get the last word. Do I let her have the last word? Like she has to just give me like a final, like, I don't care. Or like a yeah.
Okay, so
Do
I
I
don't
answer?
focus on what's coming out of her mouth. I focus on what's happening in the body.
Right, she has to.
Is
to
the
do it.
body in the bed?
No, I'm saying she's doing what I asked her to do.
Good.
She has to say something.
And she'll say, I don't care.
Again,
And right. And I'll just tell her later, thank you so much for helping. You're so
I
cooperative.
answer or I ignore.
Later. You're focusing not on what she's saying, on what she's doing. Yes.
If a child's throwing a tantrum is one acceptable reaction, just ignore it altogether, so as to not feed into it.
A temper tantrum?
Yeah,
It's
just,
bad to
you know,
ignore it,
just-
because sometimes I just let them cry and cry.
Sometimes
Like,
it's
the
so
noise
good.
doesn't bother me
Right.
at all.
I'm going to do that too.
Okay.
Number one is I'm saying I accept it. Number two, I find is so powerful. Most of us are completely not able to detach from our children. But by the way, there's a very cool 12-step program called Al-Anon. You know about Al-Anon? Al-Anon is a 12-step program for adults that are living with addicts.
What is it called?
Al-Anon. There's AA for the alcoholic, DA for the debtor, and then there's dead anon and net. What you learn is, I didn't cause this, I can't control this, I can't change this. You learn how to detach. There's also a great 12-step program called CODA. CODA, for people that are codependent. All moms are very, we're like, and the kid is like, and I hate you, and I'm gonna die. And we're like, just try. Like I do a pair like yoga pose. As if I don't care. As if I don't care. Just really like doing things that, like I showed you before in the class, like I'm surfing on top of the waves. I'm not getting pulled in. I'm not getting wet. I find it like such a tragedy when I end up getting pulled in. It takes me a while to be able to forgive myself. Miriam Adhan does a really cool thing. It's called REACH, REACH. You have it here. The R is to reflect. Right? You really want that cake. I understand. It's raining and we can't go. Oh, you're so disappointed. Give me an example. You gave me an example, or you gave me an example? You gave me an example. The kid, when you came in, I came in the first week, you asked me a question. I said, oh, I want to do this in class. The kid is asking something.
Oh, it was the teacher. What's his name?
Oh, the kid is saying, I was really bad today. I didn't do my homework. I didn't do what the teacher said I should do, remember? That was you? Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, good, right?
She's not that.
No. Okay, good, right, that was you. So she's right, so she's saying,
The teacher wanted me to fix my work and I didn't want to do it, so I didn't do it.
I did you do right, so I'll just say, teacher didn't want you to do that. I'll just see what the kid is saying. Teacher wanted you to do your work and you didn't want to do it. Breathe, 2, 3, 4. And sometimes I'll tell the kid, tell me how you feel about this. You see the ruler on the next page? It's really funny. Some kids hate this and some kids love it. Right? From 1 to 10, how bad is this? You guys have this? Here. From 1 to 10, how bad is this? Give me your emotions. 1 being up, 10 being. Wow, it goes from angriest to happiest. Cute, she did a great job. From tell me how that was for you. Just show it to me. Right, and you can actually ask it. So, wow. So, what did she want you to do? She wanted you to rewrite the math example. Wow, I understand. Tell her, like when the kid is crying, we just want them to be quiet. But sometimes, if they're telling you about their emotions or their chutzpahdik, if you can hear what they're saying and say, it sounds like you really don't want to go. Tell me about it. Yeah, only the nerves go like that. What are you scared of? Tell me more. And I do this with my kids. I'll squeeze my hand. Tell me how angry, upset you are. And then I squeeze them right back and say, this upset? No, much worse, Mom. Like that? No, much worse. 2 hands like that. Yeah, you got it. And then they'll get up and they'll keep going. I got it. Now they're done. Accepting how they feel without fighting them on it. Like, come on, it wasn't that big a deal.
That was that example, because I kept saying you should just listen to the teacher, and then he just was upset that I was not validating his feelings. So I don't know if it's the right thing or.
We tend to validate the feelings. The goal here is that you're validating the feelings, but he still needs to do the work.
Right.
So he feels that if you're going to say he has to do the work, that means that you don't accept his feelings.
Oh, I see.
People we do this a lot. I asked my wife to call the contractor about the door handle, about the knobs on the cabinets. My wife said, I don't have time now. I'm very busy. That means she doesn't care about me. I said, no, that means you didn't get control. That's not a lack of connection. That's a lack of control. She said she'll do it later. She's busy now. She does care about you. She just doesn't have time right now. We connect how we feel and how we behave. We're validating the feelings. We are not validating the behavior. We're Yidden. We don't mix them.
What should she say?
Well, so you can just accept that this is how the kid feels. When I am by the Shabbos Suda and my son is saying the Parsha, my daughter feels like a nothing. She tells me, I feel like a nothing. I'm like, well, you say something on the Parsha. No, I don't want to, but I don't want him to either, because when he says it, it makes me feel like a nothing. So obviously you're being ridiculous, like stop it right now. Breathe, 2, 3, 4. I know, I understand. 30 seconds, we've not 3 hours of empathy, but 30 seconds, do the real thing. You know, I get it.
When empathy comes off as being very fake.
Why?
Like,
Because really, but I'll tell the kids, I'll tell the kids.
My son will be right through that. Like, he'll be like, what are you doing? You know?
I'll have the kids sit on my lap and I'll say, you have such beautiful tears. Come, let me watch you cry for 3 minutes. Look, he just said, can I please have an ice cream? And I'll say,
I would never say that. I would get annoyed at them. Yeah, like that's so, that's not okay.
It's when my kids cry, they scream when they cry.
right.
My
'Cause we-
heart rate will go up. Like then someone needs to empathize for me. Like that's not fair.
You should know that it's such a beautiful skill to be
Well-
able to tolerate our kids in pain.
No, pain is something else, but like crying for no
Yeah,
reason,
like,
like
you're
why? Well, why
Wait,
would you do that?
wait. Right now, she thought she's the only girl in the class that's gonna have this dress. Turns out she comes in puffy red eyes. Another kid has the same dress. So that's a tragedy for her. Okay, and I really think that she's being absolutely, it's insane, right? And I'll just say, she wore the same dress. Tell me about it. Yes, and she's much skinnier than me, and I look horrible in it. I said, oh, it's so embarrassing. Tell me, yeah, over here by her, she wears it like this, and I can't even close the belt. And the tears. I'm like, no one died. Will you stop this? But I just, and Hashem made it that when our children are in pain, we should like get enough adrenaline to pick up a truck. We get adrenaline, like it's not safe if they cry, A, or B, you feel like they're angry at you. Like, I didn't even do anything. Like, why? And the kids will sometimes say, I told you we shouldn't get that dress. Other kids are going to wear it. You ignored me.
But it's also like that to teach them not to cry over dumb things.
Yeah.
What do they say, right? Cry, or I'll give you something to cry about, right?
Or why can't we just
The
say,
Miraglim, they
"You're
cried
so-
for nothing.
The girl probably thought you're so pretty in that dress, so she wanted to get the same. Like, why do we have to empathize? Why can't we just say like,
Do you
you're-
know why?
like you're so cool, that's why she wants it. Like,
You know, it says in the, I
just
just explained this to my new husband now. I just explained something to my new husband now. I said to him that the reason why Hashem is dying almanas, right? It says that Hashem, he judges almanas by himself. Widows are like in a separate category. And you know why the Swarm say that? Because she doesn't have a husband to cry to at night when her friends tease her. That's what it says. So I remind my husband right now, like, that's the reason why Hashem sticks up for widows. Because all they needed is the husband. Does the husband get the wife's fighting with her friends? I don't think so. But he just listens. Oh, I know. It's so hard. That's it. It's a real thing. It's a very real thing. We just, to be able to sit and breathe. And I like to watch it. I'm like, wow, Perl, look at you. He's in the store. He's like, give me your credit card. I have to get takeout. Panino. I don't know if you know about Paninos, but it's like a takeout away. Like, and I'm like, will you cut it out and get home right now? Shh. I was like, you're in the store. Yeah, it's dark and I'm freezing and I'm dying. And I'm like, I'm silly. And I'm like, there is good, healthy, fresh food in the house. I don't want to hear from you. Don't cook them. It sounds like you really want me to give you the credit card. Yeah, I'm gonna go out to work. I have to beg you for money. And I'm like, he's already a high school dropout. I'm like breathing, and this kid is in severe agony right now, and he feels completely trapped and powerless.
I hope you gave him a credit card.
I did not. You could give me a clap. I must have given him $5,000 last year. Seriously, the first year after I lost my husband. At least the credit card. Poor kid. You don't know. Besides for a belly, forget about that. He completely. Where it doesn't end. It doesn't end. It has to. If I love him, he needs to have a mother. I said, Tadek, I know it's really hard. I know it feels like you can't bear it right now, but the fact that you're hearing me breathe so calm means that you know that even though it feels completely intolerable, you could be okay. When he met my new husband, the first thing he said was, Mommy says, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it. I can do it. Okay, thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Mommy keeps saying, you can do it, you'll be okay, you'll be okay. Oh, I'm not gonna be okay. Give me the credit card right now. So we're used to either saying, no, you're being ridiculous, or sure, honey, I feel so bad for you. Here's the credit card. And now you're saying, honey, I feel so bad for you. I get it. No credit card, come home. Like, I understand your
I would be
feeling.
worried if he would come home.
I was petrified if you wouldn't come home.
Like I would be worried, like I would.
Scared.
Yeah.
Right, and yet,
Why worried if you come home?
because he might be in a
Like he-
rage,
Yeah, he's in
Yeah.
like a rage.
14.
Especially if there you are,
He's-
14 rage.
Yeah, right. And I take my body and I go to the front and say, hey, you should know a pussycat every time. The stronger I am, compassion, but strong, his head goes right here. And I'm like, you're kidding. I thought you were gonna bite me. I was like this, but I see that the stronger we are, the safer they feel. But I'm not saying I'm giving a lot of compassion. Oh, it's so hard. You're in so much pain. I said, it's healthy to cry, Tade. Go ahead. Don't tell me it's healthy to cry. I'm crying because I want to control you. It's what do you mean it's healthy to? I feel so bad. I understand. And then I try to give a very big, nice hug. Now, and I'm squeezing out your Yetzer Hara. The kid will be temper tantruming or joint compression, you know? Should I show
The
you?
occupational therapy thing too. So you,
The
like,
joint
when they're-
comp-
Yeah,
yeah.
like when they're tantruming, to like squeeze them.
Squeeze them, right? I'll do the hamatash. You know the hamatash? One foot goes down here. The kid is the jelly. And then you put like this. And I put the kid inside and make sure the face is out or you can get hurt. Because they're like this. And I'll say, you're my jelly in the hamatash. Shake, 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 shake. I'm shaking out your
You
Yetzer
just
Hara.
while they're crying.
Yes, yes.
At
Yeah.
what age do you do this?
Different kids at different ages. Some of your kids by 3 or 4 are done with this. Sometimes you have an 11-year-old, an 11-year-old that loves it. You like kind of throw them.
You know what I'm saying? Like my 2-year-old.
Yes.
Like to eat or whatever, but she started having like meltdowns.
Yes.
Like a 2-year-old meltdown.
The 2-year-old meltdown.
I could do that.
Yes, yes, yes. I'll say, you want to play blinza? I'm going to put you'll be the filling. You'll be the filling. And I'm going to take the blanket's going to be the blinza. Cheese or potato. They'll say, okay, cheese, great. Go inside and then roll them in the blanket. It's all OT, right? Just soothing and calming. You had a question, somebody here. Yeah.
I want, like similar to hers, I want to know, does this work with like a 2-year-old?
Oh, for sure. 2-year-olds are the
Like, they don't
easiest.
understand, like not this example.
Right. 2-year-olds, a lot, right. I'll say, oh, boo boo. And then, no, I don't let.
Can you just let them finish their tantrum, or should you try to calm them down? Because if I try to calm her down and watch them.
Good, right.
I don't know.
Right.
Sometimes
The most, if you had it, how do you know it was a successful temper tantrum? If it didn't work.
Right. So I just let her
If you
tantrum,
walk into the
and then-
supermarket and the kid wanted candy and you said no candy, the kid laid down on the floor and kicked and screamed and yelled till you gave him the candy, they just learned a skill. If you want something, you lay on the floor. How you deal with a temper tantrum, if you ignore it, if you do something, every kid is different. Some of your kids want you to sit there, my kids say, you don't even care about me. So if I'll sit down on the floor next to them while I temper tantrum, then they feel that I care. Some of them like, go away. They'll tell you what they want. Yes.
Can you, is it bad for me to like give in to a lot of small things for a 2-3-year-old, like a 2.5-year-old? And like now my 8-year-old will be like, why do you always just give her what she wants? And she
Okay.
cries. But like.
What do we do with that? Any of you have parenting?
We all don't want
Yeah,
to cry.
right.
And I'm not about big things. Like, let's say like, okay, no candy before dinner. I won't say no candy for all the kids, but she could have it. But I'm saying like silly things, like things that aren't a big deal. So like, I wanted
So
the
I-
green straw, not the blue straw.
Right.
Okay, so I'll do it.
Good.
And then my.
And they all
will
like, right.
Why are you giving me
And
the
I'll
green
just say,
straw?
and I'll just say, and I'll just, right. So right, when you do, who cares? You're going up and down with your 8-year-old. And I'll just say, you know, you're going to be an amazing mother. I cannot wait. I'm going to be the grandmother. I'm letting you know right now. You're going to be an amazing mother. But for right now, Sadik, you focus on being a kid and I'm going to focus on being the mother.
But it bothers him, the idea that like, I'll give into things.
And
just
this
because she's
is,
little. Like tonight,
wait.
she came with a stroller that
Good.
belongs to my other daughter.
Okay.
And she's like, right, this is mine. So I'm like, right, Mimi, it's yours. And then it doesn't have anything to do with him. Why are you saying it's hers?
Good.
It's not hers.
You know,
It's none of your
it's called
business.
Makas Bechiris. You ever heard of it? It's the oldest?
Yeah.
No, it's the oldest. They like, they're like in charge. It's like the person, the oldest, this is right, this is
You're
what.
like the dictator.
But I want you to know, okay, now I'm not gonna get any more questions till I finish at the end, but I want you to know that this is just like another form of chutzpah or kvetching. And I'll just say, it's really hard for you, I know, and just say, it's very important for you to learn how to focus on yourself. When you're gonna be a mommy, you're gonna raise your kids, and I'm gonna be the grandmother, and I'm not gonna sin. But now you have to learn how to let it go and teach them how to do that. Okay, you can label the chutzpah. Let's say the kid is gonna say, why are you, this was a great example, okay, why are you giving in to him? I'll say, it sounds like it's really hard for you. No questions.
Yeah, but can't you teach them, like with you? Like when I do stuff with my 1.5-year-old and my
Right.
like 4 and 5, I'll be like, why are you doing that? Right? I'll be like, like for her age, like she doesn't understand, so this is what we do. Or like, let me teach you something very cool. Pretend like you want this other toy, and then she'll come follow you for the other toy, then you can go back and get your toy.
It's for sure not a bad thing. She's an incredible educator. It's a very cute style of parenting. And you teach?
No, I don't.
But you explain things so well, and your kids love it, right?
I try when I'm not like.
When you're calm, right? It's adorable. But you don't have to do that. I don't think she's more like that. The kids, you could.
I don't know what else to do.
She's a teacher, right? But you don't need to be doing that, but you can.
The teachers are high, like for like higher
Right,
ages, like
right.
hormonal
Like,
growth.
why are you
So
doing it?
not little kids, like-
Why are you doing that, right? So what are you gonna say?
I'll say, like, I don't know, I'd be like, oh, when you were this age, I did that, like, you didn't understand, but you understand now, but like,
You
when
could.
she asked for
I've
like
tried
this,
that,
this is
they
how
don't
we
care.
do it, or like, I don't know, I try to like.
Some kids like drink this up. It's so interesting. I say no explaining, no explaining, no explaining. And now my stepkids, they need more words. They drink it up. They
Like,
love
I
it when I
"Let me
teach.
you a trick, let me teach you a
Right,
trick." And
right,
like,
right,
like she wants to take this away from you,
Right.
but you don't want to give it.
right,
Pretend like you want that one, let's try it. And then like, he'll do it, and then like, she'll
Right.
come running after.
But not everybody is like that. When a kid says, when the kid repeats what they're saying, yeah? Is that a good one? Imitating. So that's cool. That's shameful. I'll just say, no shaming. It'll be like, no shaming. And just make sure at the end of the day that whatever you need to happen, happen. And you're annoying, that's the point. You're supposed to be annoying. Don't worry
So
about
how
it.
does I can't hear the other kids?
What?
I can't hear the other kids talk because you keep repeating me. Just ignore, like, I can't
You
hear.
make sure to like so ignore it. I can't even put on music. Don't let him lose. I don't say don't let him win. Don't let him
He
lose.
once told me when they're like acting very bossy,
Yeah.
like, oh, you think you're Abba, that's so cute.
Right.
And it works.
Good.
It really works.
Good. Because she's really not sarcastic. Do you see her?
I'm like, oh, you really think you're Abba?
I love it. I love it. I love it. No threatening. The kids will say, if you don't give the money for the panino, I'm not coming home. So it sounds like you really want it. We don't threaten. Say what you need. What?
Tell them to leave the room if you're making
Yeah,
bad noise.
if they repeat me, you're going in your room, you can talk to yourself all you want. You go be a parrot in your own name.
Right. You could just say, right. All parrots have to go in the parrot cage. It's fine. It's fine. Yeah.
Parrots in the cage, I like that one.
She already knows.
Right. When the kid goes on and on and on, and you think I'm the slave here, and I'm the only one that has to work, and you could just sit on the couch and do whatever you want. You can take as much snack. Blah, 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 blah. I will say, sounds like you really don't want to do this job. No speeches. I know you can do this.
What? Can I ask you a question? What do you mean, like?
No
terms?
speeches.
Like a sentence and that's it?
I'll just no speeches. You need to keep under no.
Then
No speeches.
Oh,
You
I
can,
thought
yeah.
You.
But you're gonna just sometimes when they're doing poor communication skills, if you give them the communication, it really works. Tell me. I love this, and I say, tell me. Hold my hand, look in my eyes, and tell me, I don't want to clean up now. Just tell me what you need. I'm your mommy. I love you. I'm here. You can talk to me. Tell me what you need. One sentence. I do this like, you remember the old days, you had a tape recorder when you would have that like volume thing? Now you do like the phone, like this, lower the volume. So I'll do lower the volume, like, the girls are like on tone time before we started. So you need to lower the volume, the lower, and then lower. And we practice like Friday night when everyone's in a good mood. Okay, I say, okay, now you want the couch, right? Okay, do that. Give me the couch right now. Lower. Can I please have the couch? Okay, fine. You need me to speak to you like a queen? I say, yeah, perfect. Let's try it again. lower, 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 lower.
Just a question. What if the chutzpah is not in the form of like active acting out? It's literally the opposite. So you tell them something and instead of being reactive, there's just silence. It's
Yeah, but-
nothing, you know, like, I'm like, hello, I'm talking, first to someone, you know, and after a few minutes, I'll like 3, 4, like that bothers me more than the screaming and the yelling.
What are you trying to tell them?
Anything like I need you to send a text message, like yesterday, I need you to send a text message to this person, make sure they got into the house okay. Silence. I'm like, you know, I hear myself.
Do you think that they're not hearing you?
No, her excuse was, I
Her
had ketchup
ear-
chips in my mouth and I didn't want to speak with my, you know, but I was able to talk for a full 30 seconds. And I told myself, all I expect is a, okay. You know, I've seen her talk with her mouth full before, so, you know, I'm not convinced that's the real reason, but it's just a lack of feeling like a lack of urgency to need to respond. You know, like.
The kids have earbuds in their ears all the time. No?
No,
My
she's not
earbuds
on
kid?
She's not on her phone too much. I have so many restrictions on her phone.
Right.
Everything's got like a 10-minute limit, so she's not on her phone too
Right,
much.
my kid, I have a kid with the earbuds, listening to music, but like, they really don't hear. I say ice cream, I say pizza, I say chocolate,
Selective.
and the selective, like,
It's
right,
selective, like it's just.
right. So
she
you can
has a
get really
choice. It's
close.
like her choice.
You can get up really
I'm
close.
I'm driving.
Ah,
She makes a choice when she wants to respond and when she.
I wait
doesn't.
for the mother that's gonna give the driving parenting class. I don't drive. I really feel it's like breastfeeding a baby. If you're nursing a baby, or if you're nursing a baby or you're driving a car, I think it's the same helpless experience. You could say it, you can say it, you can say it, you stop.
What do you do?
What? I think you're nursing the baby. The kid knows there's nobody to match the voice. I try not to say things that need follow-up when I'm nursing a baby because I know that it's gonna be a mere suggestion.
You can't like, this sounds so bad. You can't like threaten, like, you don't do it, well, when I say you're gonna do it, it's gonna be a problem later.
I'll say, yeah, you could do the if then, right? Like if you do that. And then, yeah, like
But then
I would
you
tie a
can't
consequence to it.
So the immediate consequences, I show her how it feels.
Right.
And so for the next hour, mom,
Exactly.
nothing. And they come begging, please, I'll never do it again. You know, but that works for like, has an expiry date, right? Like. it
Also,
allows
I don't know if
for
it gives them a better skill.
Well, I'm trying to help them understand how it feels when somebody does it. to them, so
I
that-
think that it's not a lack of knowing how it feels. Like, if she would have known that it bothered you, she wouldn't have done it.
I
did
think
it
she
to
just
bother.
couldn't be bothered.
She doesn't want to be bothered.
Yeah.
You said to her, please text so-and-so that I'm coming.
And, you know, we dropped off the boy, couldn't wait for him to walk into the house, but I wanted to ensure he got in the house. Like, he's a grown boy, but still, like, I wanted to make sure he got in, so I said, you know, and from my perspective, I'm like, I did you a favor, you know, I dropped off your friend at home. You know, so in my mind, it's like, okay, this is just part of the process. I scratch your back, you scratch mine. You know, this is how we work as part of the team.
So I don't mind if next time you tell her, I'm so sorry, I can't give him a ride. I didn't have help with the texting, maybe next time.
But that's also taking revenge.
It's not revenge, that's a natural consequence. Just say, I can't be behind the wheel and knowing, I'm not, God forbid, that it's nothing, whatever, it's just not safe for me to drive him home. That's a natural consequence. I'm ignoring you, so you're ignoring me. That's revenge. Say, I can't do that if I don't know what's gonna be. Yes.
No, what?
Here. I do love the squeeze my hand. I want to just do a little bit more. If I'll be walking on the street, did I tell us to here? And Mike, you squeeze my hand and then I'll squeeze you back. But this is another one. Let's say like I'm walking on the street and people stop me all the time and my kids get really annoyed. Mom, let's go, Mom. I'll just say, if I'm speaking, yeah, I squeeze you and then you squeeze me back and then I'll know. Okay, good. Okay, crying is not a solution. So we need to have another solution. And I always tell my kids that there's always a solution. I'm challenging you to find a solution. So let's say Like laying in bed and crying, yelling and screaming is not a problem. It's not a solution. What's the problem? I need you, you know how we sing traditions? Yeah, there are no men listening to this, Jessica? There are no men listening to this? Okay, we say instead of traditions, I sing solutions, that's a joke of mine. So they're like, you have to give me, like, they'll be like, it's not fair, I'm not going, and I'll be like, solutions, give me a solution, like this. And I always tell them, and Hashem sends in every box with a problem, in that box is always a solution. There is always sometimes a solution that we have to accept, that we can't go because it's raining. And I keep on motivating them, find the solution. I bet you can find something. Oh, I love how you figure that out. Crying is not a solution.
Are we supposed to tell them to stop, like, that they shouldn't cry? Or we just tell them?
I don't mind validating it. I'll sit with you for a little, and then you can go in your room. You can cry all you need to. I tell them, just like the bathroom is, I just tell them the bathroom is very healthy. It's really important to use the bathroom. I would not let you use it in the kitchen.
But now there's like a whole, I mean,
Like,
I
let
just
them-
saw a post
All right.
that someone posted about how like, it's the worst thing you could do to tell your child to like stop crying or go cry in another room.
I disagree.
And I was just like.
It's not
"Did you just
balanced.
sit and cry all the
It's
time?"
not balanced. It's not balanced. To go from one extreme to like, stop crying, I'll give you what to cry about.
She's saying, like, oh,
to-
you should say, I'm with you, it's okay, if you need to cry, it's okay.
It's okay, right? And I tell my kids just 3 minutes.
Oh.
People do 4 hours. I used to do 4 hours of that. Like, oh, you poor thing. Oh, it's not. I can do it 4 minutes, and I'll just say, it sounds. In my head, I do. Or sometimes on my phone, I'll do it for myself. Okay, Perl?
Not for hours. You can sit on my lap and cry for 3 minutes.
Yes, I'll hug you. I'll hold you. I'll get it. And now, go in the room when you're ready. We'll talk about a solution. Crying is yes, and I tell my kids that just like going to the bathroom is extremely important. Chas v'shalom. If someone can't use the bathroom, they have to go to the hospital. It's very important to use the bathroom, but I would never let you use the bathroom on the kitchen floor. Crying is also really important and healthy. Go in your room, close the door, and cry. If they're crying for grief, they close the door and they cry. If they're crying for manipulation, they're only crying in front of you because they want to get what they want. Usually, if they're crying for manipulation, they will immediately stop. But if they're crying because they're sad, you might even give them your pillow to cry on, oh, I'll be there for you for 2 minutes, and then it's okay to keep crying till it's good, then you're gonna feel better. If a kid is very chutzpahdik, I will talk to them about it later. I'll just say, you came home from school, you didn't like the supper, you were really upset about it. And it's chicken bottoms. And it's hard for you. You really don't like your chicken bottoms. There's the veins and the gel and all that stuff. I get it. And you spoke in a way that's not an option. It's not disrespectful. Let's talk about it. How can we do this differently next time? I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. And I will tell them, like, if before we can, I want you to be able to sit down with me and make a menu so we can find something in supper that you like. We can't do that before you redo it. What can you say? Mommy, I'll redo it for one kid. I'll be one and you'll be the other, like that, but it has to be redone.
Can you give an example of that? Let's say if he's like, my 3-year-old, like, oh, I want to sit next to grandma, and like he moves his plate like closer. She's so rude. I'm like, grandma's grandma, like she'll like brush it up. Like, what if grandma's like a guest? Or
I don't want to sit next to grandma. So I want, there are times when the chutzpah is simply a lack of information. Yeah?
what do you mean?
Like his skin color is funny. Or why does he have so many pimples? Kids, they act, but that's not chutzpah. That's just, they have to be taught.
Social skills.
Yeah, that's not,
Sometimes they're chutzpah to other family members, like, you're not my dad, don't tell me what to do. So like they're.
because that's a social, you're not my dad, don't tell me what to do. So there needs to be a better way to say that.
So you say.
Just say, grandpa asked you to move over. And he is not your dad, but he's your granddad, and you need to listen with respect.
In front of everyone? Or
No,
you
no,
used to do it
after.
Later?
Later,
Say it later.
later.
Oh, so like let the scene pass, whatever, and then like. after.
Yeah, so much parenting we do to
You
save our own skin.
apologize to the person that was insulted. No, I guess.
I don't like to take over too much responsibility for my kids' behavior,
Like, how about if they're like 4?
especially if they're 4.
You just let it go?
No, let the grandma go for help.
I don't know, I apologize.
Now,
I
Depends on who it is.
apologize.
and what
maybe
the
it's
situation
cultural. I'm
is.
missing something.
It depends on the situation, I think.
Like my mom is
Okay.
remarried and if like my kid says something to like my mom's husband, like I would have to apologize, I feel like, cause it's not my dad that like I could just go, dad, let it go. It's my mom's husband.
I think even according to Jewish law, like if your 4-year-old like rips someone's skirt, I don't think you have to pay for it.
No, but like
I
let's
don't
say they
think
say something like, why, like you can't tell me what to do, you're not my grandpa, like that's her fault, like that's her fault.
He's gonna learn how to handle it if he's 4.
Yeah, you gotta.
Huh?
You could, but don't overdo
Yeah, like
it.
I would have to apologize, like I can't.
Does it
say
bother
this.
you?
Does it bother me?
It doesn't cost any money. If it works, go for it. But I don't think you
Or
have
how about
to.
if you're in the park with strangers and your kid hits another kid or something like that?
Oh, but I'll do that to teach the kid.
What do you mean? Oh, you'll
If a kid is
apologize?
hitting,
A kid, a stranger.
so I'll just say, "I'm sorry." Or if it's like a 2-year-old, you could say, I'm sorry, but not too much. When my kids were little, I didn't stop apologizing. Like, stop it.
Yeah, my husband says you say sorry all day long.
Yeah, yeah.
He's like, what are you saying sorry for? Have a meaning.
What happens if the kid is like, doesn't like, I don't know, it's like a kid throws up, so you're gonna say sorry, sorry, sorry? Like,
It's just natural, you just say, I'm sorry.
Yeah, like it comes out, like, I'm so sorry.
It's cultural.
Yeah.
it's very much cultural, especially with the in-laws, like if the kids don't behave, something home with the daughter-in-law. Did you ever? I get so upset, like,
So when you pull the kid aside privately, you're like, oh, you know, like yesterday you said that to grandma, that wasn't really nice, you don't move your plate away from other people at the table, like that's how you say it?
with a 3-year-old?
Yeah.
No. But let's say yesterday, he took grandma's plate, okay? And he spilled it on the floor because grandma took the last piece and he was mad. Then we do it over. Do you see the difference?
Why did you move away?
We don't ask.
And she'll say, because her mouth smells from garlic. So you know what it expects a 3-year-old not to do that? I think it's too much expectation.
Sarah, I'm sorry, in telling you, you said help your child change their tone of voice.
Good.
You did the volume.
Yeah, that's
Tone
what,
is so different than volume. Tone is so.
she's a speech therapist, tell me.
Because tone is like an integral part of how you communicate, right? So I can say like, why did you do that? Or why did you do that? Like, it's such a big difference.
Yeah.
Right? So how do we really work on that tone? Because that tone is very routine.
I feel like that tone, what I try so hard to do is not to catch the tone from the kid. Like, ew, why are you doing that? Like, because I don't like it. I go straight. So I'll just say, are you wondering why I'm not doing that? Say it again.
I should tell you, say.
Yeah, I need you to say it
Can you
again.
redo the story? I didn't.
But she's saying something very deep.
I-
There's volume
I understand
and
what you
there's
said.
tone. So the kids do a lot of very chutzpah tone,
Okay,
right?
you're
So I
saying we
find
should
that
answer in
in a
normal
better
voice.
tone. Make sure that you don't catch the tone of voice. Ugh, it's very hard.
Oh, like don't continue in their tone, talk normally.
Normally, and you can even have say, yeah, I need you to re-say that. I would like for you to re-say that.
Say that.
You know, the same thing if like a kid like comes down and says, I'm hungry, give me food now.
Good. It sounds like you're really hungry.
I'm like, excuse me.
Right,
Wait.
Say it nicely. Okay, give me food, please.
right. It happens all the time, right?
Okay.
I'm hungry.
No, this is not, I'm just thinking about.
Right.
things
I'm
that have
hungry.
happened.
Give me food now. And I'll say, oh, wow, I love hungry kids. Let me hear you ask again. Because then I'm not catching the tone.
Okay, the
Can we
problem-
just say, can you
the
show me?
problem with tone is that sometimes people have the tone, but they don't know they're doing the tone.
Right,
So how do I explain to them? So I say, okay, can you please just say it in the right way? I said it in the right way.
right. So instead of asking them to say it, I first say it. Ah, you mean my conference? I was like,
So
sure.
model for them.
Model it, because tone and body language is very catchy. Oh, my.
Yes, exactly. You can get the world from somebody.
One of my kid therapists said, she's not fine, but you need to teach her how to be fine. Like, I thought, yeah, the only way she hears me is if I'm not fine with her. I didn't even realize that, but
Yeah.
I'm like, you need to, I'll be like, she like sticking your head in the room, and I'm like, get out of the room. I'm like, what are you doing? Can I also see? And I'm like, oh, you're curious. Go into your room and go to bed. I'm gonna come tuck you in a few minutes. But really? And I'm like, you need to get out of here now. Okay. She heard me because I spoke like her, but what am I teaching her? But then I'm like, well, this is like a great body language and tone. It's like we pick it up in the muscle. You see how I just breathe now? Like we pick up our kids, like, and you do this with adults also. Like just you pick up the whole, we dump it back on them. So just you need to change your tone. It sounds like you're upset. When you say what I say, you don't talk like, what do you mean? Speak to you like a queen? Like, and then I'm like, no, just like a normal person. And no one heard anything. So I just want to be able to right away, they'll be like, give it to me right now. And I'm like, whoa. And then get me right now. So it sounds like you really want it.
Can I have that?
Yeah, can I have that, please?
What if you get them to do what you want them to do? And at the end is always, okay, mom.
Right.
Like
Yes.
It always is,
And
okay,
right.
mom.
You're the best. I say, you're the best. We have the best family.
Facetious, just like wrap it up and,
Yeah.
I don't know, because it sounds like what she was saying before, where it's like not believable. So it's really like kind of sarcastic in a way.
If you're feeling really angry, it's going to come across sarcastic. It's the truth.
Because that's not how a lot of us normally talk. Like, you're the best, like, you know what I mean?
I'm the best. This parenting class I'm taking, it's really working.
Yeah.
I
I
said
see that.
that.
I see that all the time now. I'm like, I'm learning so much, guys.
I'm a great mom. I'm a great mom.
But right, if you're very angry, the kids are going to pick it up. Yes,
So sometimes.
we're done.
like-
It's just because you can ask your question.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was like me food now,
Good.
whatever, demanding.
Right. And I'll just say, sounds like you're really hungry. I love it when you eat my food.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's nicely.
You
yeah.
can't say, excuse me.
Right.
Like when my kids are like, what?
It's shaming, no?
I know, but then she'll ask me again, nicely. I don't know, you can't be like shocked that they're talking like that.
Every once in a while, it's not something I would teach, like in the class. That's something that you're going to like slip up and do. And if it works great, it's a little shaming, no?
How long will it take to like create this?
You
into
have
habit? Like speaking this way.
I'll tell you what it is. It's going to, and then you're going to have one kid that's going to take you out of your socks and you're going to start again from scratch. That's the truth. Do you get like some, in general, is that a good question about habits in general? Right? Certain habits that you took upon yourself, like you really stuck and certain ones didn't. Yeah. I think it's also a passion. Like I could just keep on trying. Yes.
What if like your children are at a stage where like they're in school and they're hearing like names and then
Right.
they're starting to call people names like
The kids pick up a lot.
Yeah, or your
Right,
baby or
right,
whatever.
right.
So, no, but
It's called toilet words, bathroom words, yeah.
Or even about like common and paro, like you know, like kids always say like, I'm gonna throw you to the ocean, like paro died in the ocean, I'm gonna throw you in the ocean. Or
Right.
like Haman was on the gallows, that's what I'm gonna do to you. I'm gonna put you on the gallows like Haman.
Right.
I like how the teachers like scared, like they get scared too and they like repeat it.
Yeah.
They talk like, I'm gonna kill you with the sword, with like a ninja, I'm Purim. Like they learn these things.
Right.
From my teacher, from.
Right, or sometimes you have one kid that's really acting out, and then the kids really like, and the mothers will tell me they're learning from my kid. Like we don't have any control over a lot of things. What I did tell to one of my neighbors, there was construction going on, and one of the construction workers said a really a curse word. Like, right, so I'll like the reaction that they get, it really feeds them. So I don't want to react to it.
So you shouldn't show any reaction if they.
You such a blah, blah, blah. So I say, let's
But if
find.
they say it to other people.
I just say,
sometimes
let's
they get
find a
very-
better word.
They get very offended, like other people get very offended, like. if they-
Right, right. So you could definitely say like that's nibble,
If they
pass.
tell that to your father-in-law or your.
Right, then they're gonna kill you, right? But I just tell them, it seems that there's bathroom words like that are stuck in your mouth. So I'll have them record it. You can say it again until you get rid of it. You know, we keep our mouth clean. You know, but I don't want them to get that strong reaction because then you lost them.
Cause I'm not really reacting to it so much,
Right.
but other people
But I'll just go,
are.
I'll just say, not like a strong, not like a, they want that horror. I'll just say, not sneeze take. And the kids do learn a lot of bad words from different places. I say, no, it's not an option. The most important thing is that using that word does not give you anything. Yes.
Yeah, I have a 3-year-old. He continuously comes home hurt. Last week on Tuesday, he got bit.
Oh my.
On Friday, he got kicked in the mouth.
Yeah.
Today, he came home with this scratch on his face. Somebody threw scissors at him today.
What?
I'm so frustrated. The director
Yeah.
was like, I think your son was like a little bit of a nudge.
I know. How old? 3?
3. He's so
No.
sweet. He's so cute. He's
No.
such a cutie.
No.
So what
No.
do you do? Like they pull out?
Yeah, what do
I'm
you
like,
do?
it's like,
With the
he's not the
acquisition.
only kid. He's not the only. I used to think he's the only kid. I play school with other parents, and they're telling me he's not. Like their kids are also getting bitten. Like I have pictures. I have 5, 6, 7, 8 pictures.
No.
It
It feels like there's no supervision, right?
Not the schools, not
No,
the teachers.
Well,
I
they
just-
got another
it's the
teacher in the class.
We had it recently?
Yeah.
Is it
like
better?
today.
Ah,
We got a teacher.
I hope it's gonna help.
No, it's not a new teacher, it's an additional teacher.
Okay.
Okay, that's good.
But
You think
I'm in her
that's-
situation.
Yeah.
And I witnessed it at a child's birthday. The kid just kicked
It's
in my
one kid?
son's face.
Oh, no.
My son went to say bye to the birthday boy, and that boy was there that bit him that week.
Yeah.
And when I tell you bit, like he had like the teeth are like in his back. And my husband wanted me to take him out of the school.
Okay.
I contained like my fire, and I just went to the school the next day. I said, you need backup in the class. It doesn't mean you're a bad teacher. Like
Good.
a mom, when she's drowning from her kids, calling for backup doesn't make her a bad mom. It means in order for her to be a good mom,
Good.
she needs
Great story.
backup. So they said that the school told them it was not in their budgeting, which was fine. I said, okay, but we don't need, God forbid, for a kid to have a like cracked head, and then we're like, okay, now we need to get serious. Like, it's not, you
This is
know.
very serious.
During
So-
the school?
So what I'm trying to say is, I understand her situation because
Right.
they blame it on the children, but, and we can't blame the teachers with all
Is
due
this one
respect.
kid?
So that, we don't know.
One
because-
kid is the
no,
one-
It's a game, it's like 4 kids of a game.
A 3-year-old?
3-year-old gay?
No, it's, no, he kicked cake in my son's face because my son went to say bye to him.
Yeah.
And I yelled at the kid at the birthday, I'm like, what's wrong with you? My son's saying bye, and he starts mimicking my son and making fun of my son. And I'm like, and his mom was in there, I'm like, you need a reality check, you're 3 years old, you say sorry, and he's like, I'm not saying sorry, and he walks away. And his brother was there, and my husband's like, you can't call the mom, I'm like, he's like, the brother will go report it and make you look like the bad person. I'm like, I'm like, you're telling me I can't be controlling a 3-year-old? He's like, no, you have to just let him win this one. And I didn't call the mom, but I told the teacher, and the teacher just told me, I'll tell the mom that like this situation's going on. So I understand where she's coming from, but like,
Is the same class?
it's in the same class, so.
Is it better? Is it better? Since the teacher is there? Does the mom teacher in the classroom?
This happened back in September. You put a teacher in. I don't know why you took the teacher out. I don't know.
See what happened.
It happened just today.
What does your gut tell you?
I'm so confused. I'm so confused. I don't know.
Is your
And why
oldest?
does the school have-
Ah,
He's the oldest of 3. This is funny. Like,
he doesn't need this. He needs to have a peaceful, calm environment. Is it a big deal to pull him out?
Well, where's he gonna go?
No, I know. No. And bite marks like that need to be seen by the pediatrician because
My
it's,
son was on antibiotics in the summer because the kid infected him.
Oh my God, why would you? Take him out.
I spoke to the school and the authorities, they blame the child, I'm sorry, they can't take, my child was in.
is there another
Another
option?
situation, and they blamed it on Corona because he threw up after the situation, like, they can't take the blame. They can't say, we messed up and it's our fault. And like.
Is there an option to put them in another school?
Or another class, is there another class? No, it's like why we're all suffering.
Too many kids, but otherwise.
Yes, you raise your hand or you, okay.
What happens when like, let's say a child comes home for a birthday, got a
Right.
goodie bag, and another child grabs it and takes it?
It's his.
And he doesn't give it back, so I started saying, to him, get something that's his. And
No.
he'll go get something that's his, and then he'll give it, he'll throw the goodie bag on the floor. That's the only way it works.
Honestly, we don't steal. Go over to the kid and remove it. You can't remove it?
What if like they eat the candy that he had in the bag?
Like
Like you
this,
can't get it
yeah.
back.
Yeah.
I hate, I.
Anything, let's say the coloring, like the red marker, and
When they come home with
the other one grabs it,
Right.
and I'm like,
I'd rather try to get it back than to take something else, because then
I
they're,
shouldn't say, so whenever I say, so you take something of his.
right, it works.
Like that.
So do it.
I should do it, it works like in a second.
Yes.
Can we go back? What is it?
I most probably would pull the kid out.
Yes. I agree.
I mean, I don't know, is this a decision, right? Is there like, I don't even know, like technically, is there, why?
No, why did you take up? I'm not dropping off 5%.
Is this a preschool?
Yeah.
It's just a preschool. It's not gonna affect his grade school.
But I have a question. For
Yeah.
example, this isn't about your son. This is a general thing. At home, he could be all amazing, perfect, loving.
Right.
I'm not talking about her son in general.
Right.
I'm saying like- But like, let's say at school, he's like a devil and you don't know it and not her son, I'm saying like, for example, like, you know how the school said your son is the instigator, she might see her mom.
I just know in Brooklyn, if a kid bites, the kid gets thrown out of school.
Yeah, also
Nadia,
great, and
Nadia.
what schools?
Your class.
The
is
one,
something else.
no, the one time my son bit back, they called me, oh, he can't be in school anymore. I'm
Ah.
like, oh, because my son defended himself? They're like, yeah, I'm like, oh, okay, he'll be in school on Monday. And they're like, okay, I'm like, my son coming home with a bite mark, and then because he went back today and bit the kid back, my son's being kicked out. They're like, yeah, I'm like, I'm not putting it together.
Biting is like, a kid that bites, they don't let.
What?
You know, I have another question for you. If I was a teacher in the classroom and a scissor was thrown at another kid with a mark, I would immediately call the mother. No. I don't even know what happened.
Would that be like, but that's why the class needed an extra set of hands, because the teachers, when they come in to give you the kid, they're like, just take your kid and go home, they're done, they can't handle the classroom. It's not their fault, they're doing the best they can, but like, we need the, another time,
You're carpooling two little kids. If you pull him out, that means that you have to pull out the younger one. Because usually, pulling a kid out, and for 4 and 5, they're gonna stay in the same.
So his mom is suffering in this way.
Their mom supported.
Okay, so here, she's here. She said that we had the issue of this mom supporting her child being an animation.
He thinks that
he's a superhero.
He's a superhero.
So
and
the
he thinks
school
he's
needs
a
to kick him out
Spider-Man.
for 3 days.
No,
In order,
In his head.
Not 3 days. The kid needs a special ed program.
He plays that Spider-Man.
He needs a special ed program.
He needs a special ed.
But you're saying it's 3 kids, not 1 kid.
No, because he's teaching these other kids what to do. Like even Perl's son is trying to defend himself by being more aggressive.
Right.
One kid, and then the other everybody else. It's like the kid went in like.
I'm just looking at this mommy with a big stomach ache, and like you said to the kid in the classroom, and like you have this like feeling like this, and you're just sending him anyways. Like you're overriding. Now somehow, because you're feeling like it's even when you're sending him and he's happy.
But like at the same time, like I don't want to be like teach him to be tough.
No.
school, you need to launch like an offense before you have to launch.
I have another one option. One second, wait. I have another question. Tahila, Liz, and what's her name? Tahila and what's her name? What? Samira and Sophia, listen to me carefully. If you took the kid to the pediatrician with a bite mark, the pediatrician should call the school and say, we're gonna report this.
This is where I'm nice and I don't want anyone to get in trouble, so I suffer.
Who's suffering?
You're not being nice by not doing something because more people are getting hurt. If you
Yes.
if you were nice, if you had mercy, then you would do something about it. But
Yeah.
So like my son had a deep scratch mark,
Ah,
a deep one, like it was literally, it wasn't even scabbing. It was like his skin wasn't in his
yeah, go.
face.
Right.
So when I dropped him off at school, another teacher from the class asked me what happened to his face. So my son was having an ugly valley, so
Right.
I said, oh, I didn't make such a big deal about it because my son was having an ugly,
No.
I'm giving the other kid a benefit of the doubt.
No.
So the school, like, this is my issue, the school was just like, they were literally like, when I said that to them,
Yeah.
they were just like, oh, I'll find out what happened, but like,
No.
when I tell you my stuff, like, he
No.
had like a
No.
hole, and then my husband asked today, he's like, when you go to school, I don't care if they had a third teacher, I don't care if they have a teacher per kid, there needs to be safety, like, I don't wanna get a call from school saying, he's like, God knows how many times our kid has bumped their head somewhere, and like, we don't even know,
No.
because no one's telling us.
No.
I wanna ask a question.